Morning from the allotment. Well, Storm Otto certainly wreaked a bit of havoc on our site. I've lost a number of panes. This one here is a piece of plastic that I've put in. This angular piece is gone. This angular piece is gone. The top there, there's a piece come out. And also a piece at the back. An angular piece. So I've just been up to the glass merchants to have my pockets turned out, and I can keep holding my money for a weekend because they were closed. So an absolute pointless journey. What surprises me is how far the glass comes out of the greenhouse. It must have come out with some force, because as you can see, the greenhouse is there and the glass has reached right the way across here. But not just that, if we turn round, the glass is all the way down here. The greenhouse is up there, and it goes even further. We're still getting remnants of glass all the way down to here. It's just unbelievable what the wind can do. But then, the bottom of the plot, as you know, I've got a woodsheds. Check this out. Turn you around. So all the roofs, pallet roofs that I had on the top of the woodsheds have been absolutely wrecked. So I've got a little bit of tidying up to do. I mentioned the other day about park glazing a greenhouse and how dangerous it could be if you get caught in the wind. Well, check this one out. It was a refurb greenhouse, but not anymore. Unfortunately, that has gone. Absolutely gone. I believe that was a 12-foot by 8-foot greenhouse, and as I say, partially glazed it and left it, and that's what happens. So he's got a bit of work to do as well, and as you can see down the path, there's debris all over the place. That greenhouse over there is one that I've been putting up for a neighbour, and again we didn't glaze that because so I've a bit of tidying up to do, so I'll crack on with that. A little bit more damage. The fence is coming down. So the good thing about these pallet fences is you can simply push these back up, and then down the gap you can bring another post down and screw it in down the sides, and then that actually holds it. And then as each one rots off, you can simply pull it out and just put a new one in. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. That'll be a Sunday job. I don't really have much time to do that today. So there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 posts to knock into there. I'll just simply use a sledgehammer and put it down. They tend to last about 2 years, and then I've got to replace them. But as I say, there's plenty of scope to fit, you know, posts through these narrow gaps, and as the years go on, the post that's left in the ground, that rots down and you can put one straight in over the top of it. So it's quite a good thing. I think all the rest are pretty much stable. The polytunnel needs some of the bamboo canes fastening back on, but it fared well. And this part of the fence seems to be okay. So, a few jobs to do. There's always setbacks, but hey ho, that's all part of it. Oh yes, this is another little thing that I did the other day. This piece of timber, I think it's off a packing case, was on the burning pile. So I simply cut it down its length, 2 inches, made myself a gate. So just goes to show, one man's rubbish is another man's treasure. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, down at the allotment. It's an absolutely beautiful day. I'm down to just finish off some of those jobs that we discussed yesterday, mainly the fence, and then I'm going to get on to doing my potato trenches. Some people like to do trenches. It is hard work, but if your soil's right, it can be quite quick. I prefer to do trenches and put a little bit of well-rotted manure in the bottom, and then I'll actually just leave them, let the weather get in there, and then plant the potatoes around April time. As I mentioned before, I'm only going to be doing main crop this year. I've got 1 or 2 Charlottes, but I'm putting those in buckets early, get them ready for the barbecue season. Right folks, what I've got to do is secure this fence, and the way that I'm going to do that, as I explained to you earlier on, is just drive some stakes down in between the pallet here. This is a temporary fix because obviously this stake isn't big enough, so what I'll do is I'll just fire this one into here now. When I get a decent sized stake, I can put that at the side of here. I've already put one in at the top there, so it's starting to sturdy up a little bit, so I'll get this one in, and then what I can do is just drive some screws down the pallet lats all the way down, and that should hold it temporarily until I can fix it properly. Don't miss, I've done that before. That's down, all I'll do is put some screws in. Just 2 or 3 will be fine. Straight away, that's made it more rigid. What I'll do now is I'll put one down at this end, and that should do the job. Right, what I'm going to do now is start the potato trenches, as I said earlier on. What I normally do is I normally use a spade and dig them out. But I'm going to use this today just to draw them back. You only need to be sort of like 5 inches, sort of 5 inches deep, 6 inches deep. So I'm going to give this a go and see what it goes like. What I've done is I've placed the board, the scaffold board, where my next row of potatoes is going to be. So I'll use that as a guide as I'm drawing back the first row. That didn't take long, and it's giving me my line as a guide, but I do think I'm going to need the spade to just tidy the rope Right, so that's the first row drawn, as you can see there. As I say, it's probably around 5 to 6 inches deep. And all I'm going to do now is just pop some well-rotted manure in there. There you go. There's no smell to that, there's nothing. That's been on the pile for around a year now, so it's good enough to bob in there. So let's get that done. Now there doesn't need to be too much in there. It just wants a nice thin layer just to bed the sweet potatoes down on. And there we go. That's the first row finished. And as you can see, it's just a thin layer. Now that's just the one row. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm just going to do another row tomorrow, another row the day after. In total, I think I've got 9 rows to do across the plot, but no point killing yourself, it's cup of tea time. Right guys, before we go, I thought I'd just show you around the greenhouse, the new greenhouse at the moment, and see what's happening. As you can see on the top there, the steer on onions are starting to sprout, so that's always a good sign. I'll give them another little drink. I don't like to wet them too much, just enough to get them through. And down at the bottom, the red sun shallots and the golden gourmet. They take a little bit longer before they start showing the sprouts. The green sprouts, should I say. The broad beans are shooting through nicely now. I don't grow too many of those. I've brought down some of the seeds that I started on my Super 7 propagator at home. They're cosmos in the back there, and lupins. And we've got some Moscato tomatoes, which are a tumbling variety. You get really good yield on those. And the leeks are shooting through. I stick a propagator over the top of these on an evening, just in case it gets chilly. The Gadisha flowers are doing okay, and a lot of these are ready to be potted on. I'll probably look to pot some of these on next week. The Elsa Craigs and the pods are looking good in the tray there, and the chilies I think are all ready to be potted on. And I think I'm going to start hardening off the strawberries, ready to get those outside. The bed's empty, but that'll be filled in the near future. Right guys, I think it's time for a cup of tea. I'm probably going to do a little short video through the week, probably showing the other potato beds that you can just see down there, finished. But it's cup of tea time and home time. Okay guys, take care, have a good week, and goodbye.